Idea@wretched.org. Idea@wretched.org. I am your casual host. I think the air might have kicked back on. Back to the tie I go. Evan asks a rather salient, poignant, timely,
pertinent,
that one too, question. Would you recommend listening to a preacher that has admitted to sexually immoral acts as if his teaching is sound? I'm sorry, not as if. His immoral acts if his teaching is sound. So somebody's fallen, they're disqualified from ministry. Can you still listen? And I think the answer to that question is, it's up to you. I think that there are some people who would go, can't do it. I can't. It just does. Then don't do it. Don't ever override your conscience. But if it's like, the guy was sound, it doesn't mean that he wasn't saved. It means he's disqualified from ministry. Somebody sent in an email asking, was God really using and working through that person when they were preaching? No, because we know that they stumbled and had a moral failure. And the answer to that is there's no reason to think that that wasn't the case. Now, if the person apostatizes, then of course, he was doing it in the flesh. But if his theology is true, he is continuing in the faith, has repented for his sins, then everything that he preached, I think that it's still valid teaching, and it's up to you if you want to listen to it or not. If it makes you stumble, don't do it. If it don't, well, then you can. Todd, I've been attending a non-denominational church in my area for about 7 years now. This is going to be yet another hard luck story about a church that is slip-slided away. When I first began attending and when I became a member, I was really happy with a lot of things the church was doing, and I was encouraged by the doctrine they taught. It was a very solid church, but slowly they've been drifting. Then out of nowhere, we hired a new staff member who was introduced this past Sunday, and even more out of nowhere, the term prophet was used to describe his wife. Whoop, 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 danger. It was like a bomb was dropped, and this kind of thing has never been a part of my church at all. Well, let's all get used to it, shall we? Because I'm just telling you, this is happening a lot. The NAR is invading everywhere. Was it Rose? I think it was Rose. She was wondering about Drunk in the Spirit, about taking copies to the Philippines, because there's somebody Cho has a mega church, and he's an NAR guy. He's an apostle. It's in the Philippines. It's everywhere. And it ain't good. I'm just telling you that. Here's another heartbreak story from a woman. I will leave her nameless also. I'm part of an online Reformed singles group via social media. Did not know there was such a thing, but good on it. I've seen a strong trend of guys that seem to almost celebrate becoming legal so they can smoke cigars, drink beers, vape, etc. And within the group, I'll often see cigar smoking selfies or caping, maybe it should be vaping videos, or they have a drink in their hands. It's predominantly with males, but sometimes females. Why is this such a trend? I'm glad you asked, because it's been going on for a while. This is the neo-reformed circles that is being described. You're not in a reformed singles group. You're in a neo-reformed singles group if you're seeing that. And typically, these are the fellows, and they tend to have well-coiffed beards who have Christian liberty that they wish to flaunt. Yeah, and they do. And so the pictures of, a snifter of brandy or scotch or what, hey, this is a 35-year-old Glenn Levitt. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure. At any rate, they flaunt it. That's coming out of the neo-reform circles, and here's the reason, in my opinion, their conservative theology has not invaded the rest of their theology. They maybe have, they liked something about it. It seemed kind of counter evangelical mainstream, so they jumped on it And that's the problem. They jumped on it because it's trendy. And everything about their ecclesiology, even their sanctification, it's all about pragmatism. It's just, it's what's working, what works. And because of that, their theology not invading the rest of their lives, their church looks different, and their liberties and their lifestyles look different. Look, if it's hey, I'm not saying you have to swear. I'm just saying I can. What? What? That is what is going on. Not everybody who's neo-reform, but a lot of neo-reform guys are that way. That is why you are experiencing that. Todd, wow, we've got a theme. We joined a solid church years ago that has leaders moving from cessationist views to continuationist. What? Wait! My prophecy's coming true right before your very ears. The reason being, they joined the church. The reason being, hold on. Sometimes the emails get delivered and they're really small. You know, the print, and I can't even tell which line is which here. Okay, let me just, this is looking really pathetic. The reason being is that a couple who is deep in the NAR has come in and convinced our small country Baptist church that God is moving in special ways and we need to get on board. Also, John Piper is very admired and his continuationist beliefs have been an influence. There's a book called Divided by Faith. I tried to read it. It was, I'd prefer waterboarding. I'm telling you, it was a drubbing. Talk about small print. That one just physically very difficult to read. Small print, but just loaded with statistics trying to build the case for systemic racism. It was dreadful. Bethlehem Baptist Church is now using that as a Bible study book. Bye-bye, Bethlehem. What is it? You crack open the, I'm not trying to persuade you. This is just an observation. You crack open the door with continuationist theology, and it is inevitable. It will get wider and wider and wider. The leadership, writes this fellow, now studying material that quotes, Jesus didn't say to his apostles, read my books, and things like, we can do the same miracles Jesus did. What is that? NAR. And you're susceptible if you are continuationist. This is Wretched Radio.